All right, so the goal is to mount this trigger inside the drum using one of the lugs as the anchor point here. And then once we have it mounted, then we can loosen this screw up here and then adjust it to the middle of the drum. Okay? But first we need to take off the old head. So let's do that right now. There we go. These are actually pretty nice looking drum shells for what I assume is an inexpensive drum made in Taiwan. But it's pretty thick, has nice bearing edges on it. So it's gonna make a perfect platform for our electronic drums. Next, we need to decide which lugs we're going to use to mount the trigger in. And since the tom mount is right at this end and the hole for the jack is right here, I think, let's see. I say we mount it on this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen these screws up so I can mount the trigger inside. And they're probably not very tight, which they aren't. But this is also a good time to probably tighten all the screws to the lugs while you're in here, because they do loosen up over time. Okay, hold on to that there. Let's see if these screws are long enough. They should be. Now, the question is, which ones do you use, right? What you want is adjustability, right? You want this cone to just touch the head. So as you can see, it's more than a 1/4 inch. Well, actually, if the head was on there, it would probably be more than a 1/4 inch on the foam. But the nice thing is that you can adjust the foam up and down. You have plenty of adjustability here vertically. So I think what I'm going to do is use these bottom 2 holes here to anchor the bracket. So let's do that. That's one. There we go. was easy, right? So you can see I've used the bottom, the first screw and the third screw to mount this in. It's below the rim, so that's not going to get in the way. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball the trigger for now. And let's see how much pressure it's putting on the head. Okay, as you can see, that's quite a bit. That's way too much. So if I tighten the head, you can see this bulging out here. That's way too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop it down just a little bit and make a final adjustment, at least closer to where we need to be. So you loosen that screw up there. Let's see how we're looking. Still too high. Might be too low. You want it to touch and push on the head, but not too much. Just enough to make contact. It looks pretty good right there. You can see a little dimple in the top, but not much. So we'll go with that for now. But I'm just gonna loosely tighten it. I'm not going to make this a final installation because I kind of want to measure it, make sure it's in the middle, and then do one final check on the head before I put the head back on. Okay, now another cool thing about these guys is that you have the jack already pre-wired, and it will go into this hole here, except the hole is not big enough for the jack. So I'm going to start with a 3/8 inch bit, and ream this out a little bit and see if that gets us there. And then when you do mount it on the inside, you want to zip tie it to the bracket. At least I like to do that, so that the wires don't vibrate and make any unwanted noises. So let's drill this baby out. The grommet started spinning, so didn't want that to happen, but let's see. What can I do? We might have to sacrifice the grommet. I didn't want to do that, but see if I can hold it with a pair of pliers while I drill it. Didn't have that problem with the bass drum, but let's see. Not sure that there's enough meat here to hold it while I drill it, but let's give it a shot. sure that I'm going to be able to hold it while I drill it. I think I'm going to have to sacrifice that grommet. See if we can get it out of there.